Dishonored is a stealth action created in 2012 by Arkane Studios for 7th gen console and PC. The main reason for the popularity and fame of the mentioned title is the innovative, free, and intensely fun gameplay that has not able to dust on it to this day. In addition to the gameplay, the engaging story and masterful narration is the other factors in its success. The story of the game begins when the city of Downwell is plagued by devastating plague, and Empress Jasmine sends her closest and most trusted bodyguard Corvo to the surrounding lands for ask help. None of Downwell's neighbors accept, and Corvo returns to the Empress, and while meeting her, anonymous group assassinate her, kidnap her daughter Emily, and quickly they leave there. Now the assassination of the Empress and the kidnapping her daughter falls on Corvo, and he must prove his innocence. In this video, I try to explore the fictional and philosophical concepts of the game as much as possible. The Dishonored experience raises many questions in mind and makes the audience think, and the hidden philosophy of the game reveals itself with a little thought and analyze, and begins to ask questions like a questioning philosopher. Corvo, the game's protagonist, tries to raise the disgrace caused by the Empress's death from his name and return the throne to Emily by eliminating the elements of the code. On the one hand, the Empress's closest bodyguard, and on the other hand, as Emily's father and the one who has lost his mistress, Corvo is desperately trying to punish or forgive the agents so that he can bring things back to normal. In other words, in addition to career motivation, he also finds personal motivation to save Downwell. We have seen such a hero in cinema and television as well. Most likely, you are familiar with the character of Rustin Cole. There are similarities between Ross and Corvo, which include: first, both have lost loved ones and their lives have been affected by this loss. Second, both are reclusive and isolated. Third, in addition to the job duties, personal motivation plays a role in the performance of their duties. Fourth, both characters are well aware that the world around them is about to be destroyed, but they are trying their best to make things right. In other words, both heroes have said yes to the question: if one day Satan appears to you and said that you must live all this life forever without any shortcomings. Downwell is preoccupied with the meaninglessness of meanings and the valuing of values, and his society has been torn apart by the plague. Citizens have now become a kind of zombie to the illness, and not a slight human essence can be found in them. The streets of the city, which was once the domain of the law, are now a swain of rats that will devour anything human. In addition to internal problems, Downwell society has also been involved in political and economic isolation, which has accelerated the process of cultural decline and the consequent death of the law. In fact, the citizens of Downwell have become alienated from human nature and society due to internal through repression and external through sanctions, and have suffered from a phenomenon called cultural alienation. In the game, if you take the path of killing, more citizens will turn into zombie, and there will be more rats, more cultural decline, and the question arises where it is the violence of the Corvo that has spread to the community, or the violence of the society that has infected the Corvo. Is it an individual behavior that gives a direction to social behavior, or does the social behavior shape the individual behavior? In psychology, there is a lesson called behaviorism that says man is not inherently good or bad phenomenon, but it is a surrounding condition that shape his behavior. For example, if a person lives in an environment full of crime, adjacencies of the environment are more likely to lead him to crime. In fact, the game tried to portray the cycle of hatred between the citizen and society, and say that if either of these two phenomena create a hatred in the other, the same hatred will be returned to the system by other phenomenon. Do you believe believe that in such a situation, Dunwall has the potential of educate a good citizen. The main story of the game is based on the concepts of revenge and forgiveness, each of which is up to the player, and if you take the path of revenge, the palace of the future princess will be built on the pile of corpse, and the foundation of her rule will be based on blood. It's such a systematic killing right in the way of achieving political goal. Isn't this far from mortal? In political philosophy, there is a theory called Machiavellianism, which was founded by Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli explained his theory in detail in the book The Prince, and here I read part of it. If the ruler wants to stay in power and be victorious, he should not be afraid of evil and avoid it, because it is not possible to maintain power without evil. In order to gain power and to add to it and maintaining it, the ruler should resort to killing, plundering, and breaking the covenant. In fact, Machiavellianism is a tool that the game provides to both factions, and the protagonist of the game can use it at the will. Now we must ask, to what extent can killing and repression help the stability of the government? The other way is the spare of the lives of the saboteurs and co-plotters, in which you spare the lives of almost all the agents and return Emily to the throne with the least social damage. Which path did you take, and how did you get Emily to the throne?